Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogion Monster here. Welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF Live. It is Tuesday night, September 8th. Welcome. First I want to say to all you guys that are in like Utah and Colorado right now and Wyoming, prayers go out to you. I know you guys are getting pounded. Utah had a rough day with this crazy weather. It's like Mother Nature's on the rag or something. Jesus. Sorry, ladies. Yeah, you guys be safe out there. So tonight I did get a guest. I don't even know how to pronounce. I didn't even ask. Mr. Or how do you pronounce it? Say
Mr. Mr. Meeser.
Mr. Meeser.
You can just call me Micah.
So Mike is coming on tonight. He did email me earlier. Said he wanted to come on. He's new to the show, new to chat. So let's bring him on. Multiple experiences, which to me is really cool. You are in Bisbee, Arizona, correct?
Yes.
Been there most of your life, or all your life, or
pretty much all my life, yeah.
Right on. And you've had Bigfoot encounter, or what you consider possible Bigfoot encounter.
Yeah.
Where?
We were up just south of Alpine, Arizona.
Okay.
So my dad and brother were on a cow elk hunt, and I gave up hunting years ago. I'm perfectly happy to go walk around and be the camp guy. So
yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah. And so what had happened is my adopted brother and my dad had gone up early. Set up, found a camp, set it up, had a camp, the tents, everything was set up. So my brother and his kid and my nephews, we go up. My dad meets us at a spot. We drive in, get to camp. Silly me, get out, grab me a piece of aspen laying on the ground, whack it up against the tree a good couple of times.
How old are you at this time?
At that time, I was probably 30, in my early 30s.
And how old are you now?
I just turned 39 in July.
So was finding Bigfoot out then? So, is that why you got out and started whacking a tree?
I was just being silly. But yeah, I had, I was watching Mountain Monsters, finding Bigfoot, the history.
So it was stuff, it was in your head to do it. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my nephews copy me, they're probably at this time, around 5 and around 8, and then there's 3 years behind on the younger one. They copy me. So getting dark, we cook up the meal, ate, relaxing around the campfire. All of a sudden, a herd of 20 or 30 mule deer come up. And, we hear them coming up the hillside, and, well, what the heck's that? Flashlights. And they literally stop in probably a good 20 yards from us, and they're staring at us. We're shining flashlights. Hitting them in the eyes with flashlights. And they're just like, hey, what's going on? Mind if we hang out for a while?
That's a lot of mule deer.
Yeah.
It's a big herd.
Yeah, that was a real. And one of the reservations is probably 2 miles away. We could see it from the campsite off the hillside.
Is that White Mountain?
Yeah. We're just around about 45 minutes to an hour away from Big Lake.
Okay.
So.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I love the area up that way.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, down here is nothing but desert and skeet trees and rattlesnakes. So.
Yeah. That's a funny thing about Arizona is, it's all beautiful, but everything can hurt you.
Yeah.
The plants, the insects, the bugs, the lizard, the lizards, everything hurts you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's cactus out here that'll just kick your ass.
Oh, yeah.
A jumping cholla.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess with those.
Right.
So anyway.
So we finally, bed down. Thought I heard somebody get an ice chest kind of pop out. My brother's still awake. Okay, whatever. Sleep. Well, the next morning we get up, do the breakfast thing. Everybody goes out except me and my adopted brother. We're hanging around camp, BSing. You know, you start to get that weird feeling like you're being watched, looking around, walk across the road, find a little pond, you know, nothing really major happens. So yada, 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 hunt goes on. Well, my brother just has to go back to work. And the kids got to go to school and that kind of thing. So they head back, and me and my adopted brother get in this little argument about, hey, who's going to stay, who's going to go, stay with my dad for the hunt. Well, I got voluntold I'm staying for the hunt. And so my dad, for whatever reason, is sleeping in one tent and I'm in the other. And I mean, this was one of those big tents where it has one room, and then a big middle like cabin.
Do you snore?
Yeah, actually. The wife hates it.
Probably explains it.
But so I'm asleep, right? All of a sudden I wake up, my hand's reaching for this little single action 22 I got with me, because I kind of sense a presence back behind me on this tent. And as I reach, this thought pops into my head, like, if I shoot this thing, it's only going to piss it off. So my hand comes down and I put it on my chest, and I kind of feel it move away. I hear one ice chest open, close. The other one, you hear the rooting of the ice and everything. And then I kind of feel it move back away and back down the hillside. And I mean,
did you hear it? I mean, like any footsteps or?
No, not a single one. I just went from dead ass asleep to what?
On alert.
Yeah. You know.
And that's the extent of that?
Bigfoot, yeah.
No footprints the next day or anything? Or, I mean, you couldn't see any tracks, nothing? No.
My dad gets out, looks in the eyes, just, hey, you fat ass, you ate all the Snickers bars. Other than that, that was it. I was like, we had Snickers bars? You know?
That'll keep them coming back.
Actually, the funny thing is up until then, I was not a believer. I mean, if you told me you saw Bigfoot, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Good for you. You know, I'm not going to knock your experience or whatever, but okay.
I'm sure, you know, and I was like that too in the beginning before I kind of stumbled into this. It's, you know, and I'm still a skeptic in a lot of stuff. You have to be. It's healthy. You gotta, you know, you can't just go in with blinders on.
Right.
Real quick, I just got to say hi to everybody in chat. How are you guys doing tonight? I'm just going to blow through some names. I'm sure I'll miss a few. Chris Jarvis, Isaac, Beth, Paul, Mark, Livewire. How's it going, buddy? Got to get you back on soon. Big Rob, thanks for moderating, buddy. Cashew Chopper, B, Granjo. A lot of people in chat tonight. There's 54 in chat. Holy crap.
Wow.
The fuck am I doing right? That's awesome. That's fantastic. So also you have some UFO encounters.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've never seen a ship per se.
Okay.
But I mean, lots of weird things happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially down this area, there used to be a guy who actually cataloged this stuff here in town. And been on his site, you know, a buddy of mine turned me on to it, and he found out that the Dragoon Mountains here near Tombstone are supposedly one of these underground bases or whatever.
The dumb bases or whatever, deep underground military base.
Right.
Yeah, there's supposed to be one like 15 miles from here.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 4 between Arizona and New Mexico, or 5, you know, that people report.
Sure. They'll never know.
So, yeah. And he on the site, it said if you go outside about 7:30 and you look this direction, you know, you'll see lights in the sky. And he had made one stop using telepathy or, mind speak or whatever you want to call that.
Oh, really? He controlled it?
Well, he asked it to stop. And so started doing that. You see an orange ball of light zoom across the top of the house, and of course we have the border patrol, because like we talked about before.
Oh yeah, guys, he is in Bisbee, Arizona, which is basically a border town.
20 minutes from the Mexico border.
Yeah, so he's down south. Weird shit goes on down there.
Oh, all kinds of weird stuff goes down here. And that kind of stuff. Well, my brother had gone through a divorce, so and all this stuff, he got a job in Morenci. So I have the house to myself. I'm in a back bedroom, and I can't sleep. And in my mind's eye, I see a gray alien in the corner of the room. And I'm, and I wake up and look, and it's like, holy crap, what's going on? Well, I finally am able to kind of fall asleep, where you're in that half awake, half asleep area.
Sure.
And I wake up and I see this thing coming down over my face.
What did it look like?
I had the bright light in my face. All I could basically see was something that had a head and a torso kind of to it. And it was coming down over my face. And that was kind of the end of that. And a few other experiences. My dad was actually abducted one time when we lived in Morenci. On my left leg, just before my knee on the calf, when we lived in Morenci, I pulled out a little black node on my leg.
Implant?
I assume so. Unfortunately, I lost it, and I was trying to put it in the envelope and dropped it.
Seriously?
Damn,
dude.
Yeah. But because I was itching, how you get the itch, and I kept scratching. And I thought it was a mole at first. And all of a sudden it comes out, and I'm like, well, this ain't no mole.
No.
And I went and I showed it to my dad, and he's like, what the hell? And I tried, like I said, to save it, and gone.
Well, that is odd, though.
Yeah.
And also, what was it? Ghost encounters.
Oh, a lot of those.
Really? How did they start, or what age? Like,
my earliest one, I was probably around 3, and we used to live.
And you remember that?
Yeah, on the border town of Naco, which is just a town, on the border right here south of me. And we had a trailer there, and every night my brother and I would hear a horse. How they kind of whinny. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm sleeping, and again, boom, awake. I see the specter apparition of a horse. I'm like, what the hell is that doing in my room?
Oh, it was in the room.
Yeah, it was because my brother and I slept on bunk beds. My younger brother was on the top. I was on the bottom. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I see the dude dismount on the left.
Oh, there's someone on the horse. It's not just like a horse. There's someone on the horse.
Dismount on the left, walk up to the bunk beds, peer up at my little brother. And I'm sitting there. By now, the covers are here.
Sure.
3 years old.
Blanket shield, of course.
Right. Can't
they
get
still
me
work.
over the. Right. And so he leans down, looks at me, cocks his head, and then goes like this. Blankets are up and over. And I didn't remember this, but I was talking to my dad about coming on your show today and stuff. He happened to stop by, and he's like, you know what? I remember that. Because after it happened, you went and ran to me. My mom was at work or whatever. And so my dad used to be a deputy here in town, grabbed his 45 because 3 years old. What do you say? Hey, there's a man in my room.
Yeah.
And we're on the border.
Not something you're going to make up. Yeah. That's true too.
So he jams to the room. Next thing I know, he's coming back with my little brother. And years later, working for the prison system here in Arizona, down by a town next to me, in Douglas here, found out it was Buffalo Soldiers. So I guess he was just interested in what was going on. And fast forward a year or two later, and my parents had divorced. We're living in another part of our town, and in Warren, and I would just see apparitions. Like literally, one looked like, you remember the old Legos ghosts?
Sure.
It looked exactly like that.
Stepped on a few Legos, but I remember the ghost.
The old sheet ghost, you know, the like the guy in the sheet, the glue,
yeah,
glowing, yeah. I was like,
that's all right.
yeah, you know. Then my ex-wife and I had a house in the Palominas area, which is west of the town that I'm at, and we had put a manufactured home out there. And I would hear hard boot steps on the floor. And I used to have a Zippo lighter, just plain stainless steel, I would always throw out on the table. I actually heard that thing slide across the table. And by then, you know, Taps, Ghost Hunters was real big.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, my ex-wife had a digital camera, started snapping pictures. There was 3 orbs off the cabinets sitting there on one of the pictures.
Well, it's got to be the property. If it was a manufactured home, it was a newer home. So, I mean, or a brand new home or whatever. So, I mean, it had to be the property.
Right.
Huh.
You know, you'd be in the bathtub and I'd get the mental image of a cavalry soldier. You know, and just, it was never really anything like hurt you, but it's like, hey, I'm here type thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about like you know, the Indian battles out here with the cavalry, and I mean, between I'm in the Verde Valley, and like all the irrigation and all the in between Verde Valley, like Cottonwood and Camp Verde, and all that irrigation was done by the Army Corps of Engineers back in the day.
Right.
Just so they could, you know, well, one, have water, but also raise hay for their horses. You know, they could irrigate crops.
Right.
And like General Crook is, I'm sure you're from Arizona. You've heard of him. Like if you come up 17, there's General Crook's trail. Well, he was an Indian hunter. Excuse me, guys. It's just, I'm not trying to be derogatory or anything, but that was just the way they described it.
Battle in the Comanches.
I have mad props for Native Americans.
Yeah.
Here, Argo has a question for you. Mogs asked him when the first time he saw lights.
Lights like well, do you mean like ghost lights or UFO lights?
Argo, specify, buddy. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse.
No problem.
No, it's not a pony. Hold on. Any strange lights?
The first time I ever really saw lights was with really UFOs. And this would probably be 8 years ago, roughly on the high. I mean, I'll sit out in the backyard still to this day and be looking up at the sky, and like an old camera, you see the flash of a blink of light, you know, and it's like,
sure.
I mean, I can't tell you what that is, but.
Let's see, any other questions I probably missed because I'm terrible at this. If you do have questions, please put them in caps, all caps, so that catches my eye. I'm just going to scroll back a little bit. No. I want to say hi to Aaron and Jake, and if I didn't say hi to Ruger, what's up, buddy? Nessie, hi. Moog, my oh shit, here we go. Hold on, dude. It's been too long. I haven't done that since the first show. Yes, they're off, okay? Yeah. Luckily, it's nice in here.
Right? Hey, it wasn't too bad down this area today, so.
I know I'll catch shit for that, but I don't care. First live show I did. Nessie came on, pants on, pants off. I was like, you know what? You're right. Took them off. My bony ass on this hardwood. So yeah, like I said, put questions in caps. Let me scroll back, see if I missed anything. Don't get excited, people. They're just shorts.
I haven't got to the fun ghost stories yet.
Was there a smell in the hunting camp?
No.
Depends what they had for dinner.
No green clouds, no smell like the rotten egg smell, nothing.
Yeah, sulfur or wet
you
dog.
know, and I was watching some of the older shows, and you had a guest, Andrew, on, and he was talking about it, and what if it is, if they can do mind speak, what if it is something they put in your mind that you smell that smell?
Yeah, but it's the same smell that everybody's smelling. I mean,
you can put it in anybody's head. Maybe they're picking your brain. Hey, this is the worst smell ever because we train ourselves to smell rotten egg smell for gas leaks and stuff.
No joint bomber. I wouldn't do that on air. I'll smoke a cigarette on air, but
right. Not unless you have your fancy card in this state.
No, not yet. The only fancy card I'm getting soon is my driver's license in 2 days.
There you go.
It's been almost 21 years, dude. It's overdue.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll legalize it recreationally this year. It's supposed to be on the ballot.
It's on the ballot, but we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of stipulations, and they might reject it. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So, dude, tell us your fun ghost stories.
All right. Well, let's tell this one.
Howdy, dude. Sorry.
No problem. I used to be what was called perimeter security, graveyard shift at the prison. So you drive around, make sure nobody's hopping fences and trying to get out. So monsoon season around this July, August. Driving around, I look up. I see a mist that looks like a snake moving through the air. Driving around going, and then you got that nervous feeling, like not that you were going to be attacked, but that like caution, nervous feeling.
A little anxious.
Right. Look on the rearview mirror, and the back of the car, the vehicle I'm driving starts to fog up. I'm halfway through my shift on an 8-hour shift, and hadn't done it, a little on the front because monsoon season, equalizing the air. And it literally, you could see it come through the window, through the glass, and into the passenger seat with me. Yeah.
It sat down next to you.
Yeah. For a good couple hours of my shift.
Really? What kind of form did it take? Oh, hold on. I just knocked my earphones out. Hang on. I got to get a new set. I used the wired ones because I don't want like earbuds to die in the middle of.
Right. If you don't charge them for their 3 to 6 hour life, then you don't have ears. Yeah. At first, it was kind of a mist, and then it went away. I had a female officer working perimeter patrol with me that night. she's also a sensitive. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? There's somebody riding around with me. And she kind of looked at me and I go, there's somebody riding around with me. And she kind of did her thing and she's like, yeah, it's Navajo Ned. And again, not to be rude, but there was a Native American guy who had got killed in the prison there. And that was his nickname, Navajo Ned. And he would appear on the roof and make us do special counts and things like that, make sure everybody was there, not trying to escape. Yeah. Well, fast forward a little while. We're probably around October. And man, graveyards, October, when the energy in the air gets weird and starts to cool down in this state, I'm sure you can attest around October, everybody getting, the energy in Arizona just gets weird.
Yeah.
And
once it starts to cool down, yeah. It's I don't know. How do you describe it?
And I mean, we're armed. We have sidearms and shotguns with us when we're on perimeter. One of the other posts is just a sidearm. Well, this was our traffic control area. We're supposed to control anybody coming on and off the complex by vehicle and all that. Break comes around. I'm down there. The female officer that I was talking about earlier is talking to a lieutenant or a captain over there. And the sound of when people walk, the rock kicking sound and all that. Yeah. I hear that on the other side, and I'm like, looking around, don't see anybody. So I go back to what I was doing. I get that feeling like somebody's staring at you, being watched. I look over, and all you see is this shadow on the ground. And I mean, I stand about 6 foot. Depending on which convenience store I'm leaving that day.
Sure.
And I mean, I tested it. Me standing at 6 foot to put my shadow in the same spot, I would probably have to be within 5 feet of the steps. Nobody there. And then another time, sitting there, perimeter patrol, they had just fixed some lights that we usually like out, but they had fixed them because security. Weird thing out there in the prison. Standing there smoking a cigarette by myself, I hear somebody walking up behind me.
It's not the place you want to hear someone walking up behind you, man.
Especially in a prison when you're armed.
That's what I mean.
Okay, must be an illegal immigrant because, again, Douglas is another border town. Yeah. And so I got my hand on the gun and I start creeping around the truck. There's this shadow crouched down behind the truck. Nothing there, but you can see the shadow of somebody crouched down behind this perimeter vehicle. I'm smoking a cigarette. I look at nope. And this thing runs around and gets right in my face. Like you can't see, but you feel something.
And you still see the shadow?
At that time, no. I couldn't see the shadow, but I heard it move.
Okay.
Because you keep side-eyeing it, because there's something there.
Sure.
And I saw it spring up like it was going to run. And after that, you couldn't see the shadow anymore. Yeah, it was.
Told you there's weird shit in southern Arizona.
Boy.
Yeah, there's weird shit here too, dude. I mean, we got Sedona next door, and
the energy in Sedona is weird, man.
Dude, I know people who have been to Sedona and just couldn't deal with it. The energy there made them sick. Yeah. Once they got out of Sedona, they were fine. It messes with people differently.
Yeah, and it's real funny. City limits to city limits, man. It's real weird that way.
It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, but yeah, some people react differently to it. the vortexes or ley lines or whatever it is that's causing that energy over there.
Right.
So we get some weird stuff going on over there too. Bradshaw Ranch is out there. Government bought it up. It originally belonged to the Bradshaws, obviously, and back in the day, he had built like a movie set back there that they would use.
Right.
But then later on, supposedly it's haunted, and there were Bigfoot encounters and portals.
Wow.
Yeah, portals, and there's books out on it.
Wow.
Linda Bradshaw was an author or half author. She co-authored a book about it. I want to check it out because now that I can get out in a couple days,
Right.
the chains have been broken and I'm mobile.
Right.
I want to get out there and check it out. I want to go. You're not supposed to. I know it's fenced off. There's the government's out there, and
yeah, that's the part you got to be careful with.
Yeah, men with guns. But hey, if I'm on one side of the fence, kiss my ass.
There it is. As long as you're on the right side. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Say hi to some more people in chat. Belle, hi. Welcome. Good to see you, and thank you for your moderation. Or your moderating, I should say. Don't go there. Boots on the ground with Barb. Hi, Barb. Great to see you. Good question, Bomber. Who hasn't hit that like button? If you haven't, do so. Or not, whatever. Not going to lose sleep over it.
Right.
But it is nice. Don't see any questions. Belle, we love your moderation. That's funny. Thanks, Barry. Barry puts waves and farts. He's too far north.
Yeah.
Barry's way up there in like Hudson Bay area. He's way north.
That's over in New York, right?
No, it's in Canada.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Canada.
I think it's Hudson Bay. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think I am wrong, actually.
Well, Hudson Bay does both, so.
But I know he's way the fuck up there. Who wrote this? Of course, Jake. How are you staying sane in these COVID times? Guys.
I'm already crazy, so it doesn't matter to me.
Hey, guys. We love you, Jake. Yeah, you know what, dude? I'm just, I wear my mask when I have to on the bus, in the store. Then I stay home. Once it's been too hot to fish. Today was finally a nice day. The weather broke for a little bit. Hopefully it'll stay cooler because it's just been hot as balls. Yesterday was probably 110. So yeah, I just avoid people.
Yeah.
I social distance.
I've been practicing for that my whole life. So.
Professor Orange Juice asked a question. Let's go back and find it. Describe Bigfoot. What did you see? Is what he's asking.
Again, I was asleep in a tent when this incident happened.
You heard it, or
I sensed it. Yeah, I sensed it is the best way I can describe it to you.
But you did hear the cooler slosh, right?
Yeah, by then I was already awake, and you heard we had two ice chests out there. You heard one open, close, and then you heard the other one, and then like somebody stuck their hand in and rooted around in there and got whatever they wanted and gone. So, I mean, and then, like I said, my dad comes out of his tent the next morning. So, and of course, you wake up. What do you have to do? I have to piss. Shit, I'm not going. I'm not going up. Not me. And my family's avid hunters, avid outdoors. My dad always preached to us: carry some kind of firearm with you. Well, it wasn't for. It's never been for Sasquatch. It's always been for bears, people. Hey, it's Arizona, and people do weird crap out here.
Don't they?
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody recently, was down in the Superstition Mountains, and he was down by Bloody Basin, down 17, between up just north of Phoenix. And he was like rock hounding or something, and somebody actually took a shot at him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that.
The county I live in is Cochise County.
Mm-hmm.
Literally labeled home of the misdemeanor murder. Yeah. Do you want to hear that story? This comes from a deputy.
Absolutely.
This comes from a deputy buddy of mine that was actually there. The place where I used to live in Hereford, okay? There's a bunch of nuts out there. A neighbor did something he didn't like his cows got out. I mean, something that remedial. So he shot his neighbor and killed his neighbor. The deputy showed up with an AR-15. Deputy showed up, shoots at the deputies, pinning them down underneath their car. Home of the misdemeanor murder. He got off with a misdemeanor. No jail time.
Jeez. B, I'm looking. B said she posted something. I gotta go find it. It only goes so far. Hopefully I can find it. B, if you don't mind reposting, I'm sorry, hon. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't really care about dead Arab guys, so
Right. Well,
I'm busy. Damn it, trying to run a show here. No.
Couple more ghost stories again at the prison.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Working graveyards again. Weird how it always happens on graveyards. Sitting in a
witching hour.
Right. Sitting in the officer station, just enough light to put under the door. Shadow goes by. Start looking around, seeing if any inmates are moving around. Goes by again, like a mouse, just back and forth, back and forth. No inmates moving, no nothing, just a shadow. And of course, it's right at that 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning hour where you're like, I'm tired. I want to,
take a nap.
Yeah, you're getting sleepy yourself, but of course you got to stay awake. And the one time it happened during the day, the one time, again, where this inmate was killed on the other yard, that we had what was called an E-run. You have what's an AB side and then a CD side. And it's one officer versus probably 40 inmates. So if something should kick off, good luck.
Sure.
Well, the house that this dude died in, we have an E-run which adjoined the house. And we used to house inmates in there, and that's where he was killed. You would hear the door open and close. And I mean, you can look down there and see the other officer station. It's not like somebody can come through there and then hide in a corner somewhere without you seeing them. So, yeah, I mean, you hear that E-run metal door clang, bah, 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 bah. And hell, yeah,
that's just a weird place to have. I mean, it's common. You hear a lot of stories where it's haunted prisons, but to experience it while you're working is just unnerving because you're like, I'd be worried more of prisoners than
Right. Actually, I never had to worry about prisoners. I mean, I was assaulted once, but I always had to worry about my fellow staff more than I did prisoners.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't? Were you in Arizona when that story kicked off about officers running War Patrol and other officers running drugs from here to Nevada. You weren't in Arizona?
What year was that?
About 06, 07.
No, I wasn't out here yet.
Yep. One guy I used to work with was caught up in that, and he snitched everybody out.
Figures.
Yeah.
So B. Lynn asks, question, Mr. Muir, sorry to pronounce it. Does anyone else in your family have same ability as you?
Not as me. But yeah, it runs in the bloodline on my dad's and my mom's side.
Right on.
Hmm.
Let's see what else. Professor OJ wants to know, hey, Mogs and Mr. Messier, what Bigfoot shows do you enjoy on a daily basis besides World Bigfoot Radio? Sasquatch Chronicles, Dogman Encounters, doesn't have to be all Bigfoot. I listen to a lot of stories all day, Buckeye Bigfoot, Dixie Cryptid. I have one going all day.
Yeah. Is it just me, or can Cam narrate the heck out of them stories?
Yeah, he could read the back of a shampoo bottle and it would sound good.
Right? I mean, there's just something about his voice that's just soothing when he reads those stories.
And it's like the woman from Leslie from Cryptids Canada.
Mm-hmm.
She's got this voice that's just addictive. It's weird because it's almost comical. It's right. I'm not laughing at her, not making fun of her, but it's the way she tells a story. And she's one of those. She reminds me of Jake from BLB, because she's like, when she starts off, she's like, "Hi guys,"
right?
And then she gets into her story.
Yeah, I came across one. It was like S something or other.
S stories.
Yeah. With that lisp, it just throws me. I mean, I'm not trying to knock the person, but the lisp just throws me.
Let's see.
And
rinse and repeat. Yeah, that would be Cam. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. And like I told you, I found you through Livewire, Mark's thing, and I like to watch some of his stuff sometimes when, like, at the beginning when he first come out and start shooting. You're just like, holy crap. What the hell?
Well, it was kind of weird the other day. He had put out a video where he dressed up like me, and I didn't know about it, and they're talking about it, and I thought they were talking about something else, and I'm like, because I knew he was coming on. Well, when he came on that show, he was dressed up again, and I didn't know about the video beforehand. So like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And, chat, and then I saw it, and I was like, holy shit. Fucking awesome,
Yeah. Yeah, jeez. I like Mark. He's a character there. No,
and then that's great, man. I love to laugh. I like to make people laugh, and my theory is, if it's funny, say it. Apologize later.
Right? Agreed.
More than likely, I'm going to piss someone off, and I'll be like, "Hey guys, I'm sorry."
Well, I mean, I especially working at the prison yard, I used to be the same way. If they got pissed off at me, they can get happy in the same pants they got mad at me in. I really didn't care. But I mean, I love this show. Everybody just comes on, tells their stories. The community down there in the chat's real great.
Now, Paul, you're breaking my heart, buddy. Okay, folks, since I'm new and my humor isn't funny, I'll just watch. Good night, all. Well, Paul, thanks for being here. I'm sorry if we're not trying to offend or anything. I'm just, doing our thing. Just kicking it, If I offended you at all, I apologize. Let's see. Argo wants to know, has anyone besides your father been abducted?
Myself.
Oh, you could have said that earlier.
I thought it was in one of the stories. I'm sorry. I mean,
well, you didn't tell the experience that you were. Is that the one with the
Yeah. I mean, there's more to it. There's more to that
you were
story.
laying in bed and saw that.
Yeah, there's a little more to that story that I don't really know if I want to share.
Because no, that's cool.
It's you know what? Screw it. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'm weird anyway. I don't care. Well, as it was coming down, that machine or whatever, there was one in the room, and somehow I don't know how I managed to break free off the table, and this thing kind of bum rushed me, and I grabbed it in a chokehold, and I don't know if I killed it or not or whatever. I found the panel on the doorway, and it's like, I don't know how to get out of here. How am I going to get out of here? A little voice popped in my head, said, punch it. Okay. So I gave it hell, and all of a sudden, I guess some kind of alarm or something went off. Get out in the hallway. These things start swarming me. I'm able to push through, get into what looks like a control room. And somehow it popped into my head, hey, I can control this thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I start controlling this ship, I guess. And I'm like, you know what? You guys keep fucking with me. You, me, all of us. I'll drive us into the sun. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
The story and then the direction I wasn't expecting.
I told you it was weird, and now you see why I didn't really want to tell. Oh. I mean, it's like I probably shouldn't eat the Cool Ranch Doritos before I went to bed. You know what I mean? And so I wake up the next morning, my knuckles are bruised and red
from hitting.
So yeah. I don't know how. I mean, that's the only thing I can relate it to. But at the same time, now it's like, did that happen? Did it not happen? Was I imagining it? Did I watch too much TV that night? The Cool Ranch Doritos? I don't know.
So sorry, I keep looking at Chad, dude, and it might have been the Cool Ranch Doritos, but Paul says it took me way too long to say the fuck. That. Let the F-bomb fly.
And I mean, I saw your face when I told you, you're kind of like, what?
Yeah, that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And it's just something you woke up from, Yeah. I mean, and it wasn't a dream. I mean, no, you wouldn't know. You had the bruise. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they ain't small, but they ain't big. But they from knuckle to knuckle was red. And I mean, if you poke up, how when you punch something real hard and you're like, ow, and a couple days later you can touch your knuckle and it's sore.
Still hurts. Yeah. My knuckles are screwed up. See, this one's flat right there.
Yeah. And if you want another good abduction story, I'll tell you my dad's.
People do want to hear your dad's story. They were asking. So yes, okay. Please go right ahead.
Well, again, we lived in Morenci. My dad had a couple of horses, so he'd go off to feed them, water, the whole nine. And he had one of those big horse troughs that was like a small swimming pool. About 3 foot high-ish, 2.5, 3 foot high. And probably, hell, I don't know, almost fit a bug inside of it, a Volkswagen Bug. Well, him and the dog would go walk the hillside of the old dump and down by one of the rivers. Well, he said he was walking with the dog. He looked up, saw a ship, lost time, came back, the horse, it took him an hour-ish, or depending on how low the horse trough was, the water trough. It was already overflowing and flooding the pin.
Oh, so he was filling it at the time?
Yeah, because me and my brother are back at the house, and I look at my brother and I go, "Hey, he's been gone a really long time. Should we go look for him?" My brother's like, "Nah, he's probably dicking around." Like, okay. Well, he comes back and he flops down on the couch like he just went for a 20-mile hike. And we're like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" I was abducted. What? Shut up. No, you weren't. Because we always made light of it. It was never a thing we spoke about openly.
Sure.
So he rolls up his pant legs, and on both sides, it's like he put both legs in a vice, like clamp marks on both legs, like bruised. And we
on
don't
on the outside of the ankles.
No, on the calves.
Okay, on calves, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean it was probably about mid calf because he wears cowboy boots.
Oh, okay.
So I mean it was just above the boot area there. And I mean, they were black, like purple black. And then just after that is when I found the node in my leg.
Was it because, I mean, when you found the node, how long did you, when did you originally realize there was something there, or was it just you had an itch and there it was? Does that make sense?
I mean, I had always had the feeling ever since that happened when I lived here before we moved up to Morenci that they came after my son. After he was born, he was probably about 6-7 months old. And a friend was staying with us at the time, and I tell him, hey, jokingly, he slept out on the couch, and not jokingly, I was like, hey, I'm an abductee. They might take you too. Just joking. And I had stayed up late, dicking around on the PlayStation, playing some games. And we had one of those cheap motion lights that you get off the thing where, well, I'd get the feeling everybody's crashed out but me, and I'd get the feeling that I was being watched from our security door. So I'd pop over and the light would kick on. No wind, no nothing.
But it's a motion detector, so
right.
Could have been a cat.
No cat. Because the way it was set up, you would have to walk in front of it to actually set it off. And I mean, this thing didn't have that far of a
sensitivity.
Yeah. Probably 2-3 feet from the door, and it kick on in your face. So now I see this white outline of a gray. Probably one of the taller ones, probably about 5-6 foot. They were coming after my son. So.
How long ago was this?
My son's 3, so probably 2 years ago. And I don't really have that many problems with him anymore, thank goodness.
Nothing's going on now, so nothing really became of it.
Not that I'm, conscious of anyway.
Sure.
So.
So somebody just asked if I was going to post the link tonight. Argo wants to know if I'm going to post the link. You mind sharing?
No.
Yeah.
Your show, man.
No, dude. You're a guest right now, and some people don't want to share the limelight.
Well, I'm about out of stories anyway for now. Anyway,
right
so.
Hopefully. Hold on. Sorry, I saw something about smoking pot and it just caught my eye. Go figure.
I mean, if you guys want to talk about psychic stuff too, I'm all for that.
Yeah, let me.
I'm open for anything. So
I am going to post the chat, the link in chat. So I gotta just bring it up real quick and type it in.
I mean, we can try some.
Tell us a little bit about some psychic stuff while I'm doing this. Is this something you've had since you were a kid?
Yeah. The way I was kind of activated, and again, this is one of those weird stories like flying the UFO ship. I was probably 3.5, still living in Naco here, down by the border. And my brother and I are out playing in the yard. And I get not too close to the road, probably within 2 feet of the road. And I hear a voice, "Look up," in my head. So I look up and there's this bolt of lightning coming out of the sky. Now, this ain't no Cool Ranch Dorito story, man.
No.
It's right in front of my feet. I fly back into my parents' trailer. I have this vision of being in a golden light. And this is going to sound really weird, and I hope I'm not offending anybody if you're an atheist. But I walk into this throne room, and the old Greek pillars all the way around. And I can see little angel figures in these pillars. See a dude to the right of this throne. Can't really make out a face of the person on the throne. I hear, "You're chosen," and I'm like, okay. And I'm waking up. From my neck down to the belt line area, red mark. After that, I could see like the sentence structures people were forming above their head. I can't do this now because of, and I'll get to that part, but so I would finish people's sentences for them.
I used to do that. I used to piss people off.
Yeah, you know, what can you do?
I stopped doing it.
Right? And like I was predicting the next day, you know, as I was getting older. Finally, my teenage years roll around, and I finally confessed this to my grandma, who's a very devout Jehovah's Witness. And she says, "That's the devil getting a hold of you. You need to stop." So me being me, and well, I love my grandma to death. She's like my mom. I don't entertain those things anymore. And so I put them away. I meet a friend at the prison, and he's like, he starts talking to me about this. I'm like, "Oh, so you can do this, 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 and this, and this, that, and the other thing." And he's like, "Wait, you can do this stuff too?" I was like, "I used to. I really can't anymore. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it." Type deal. Not that it's ever gone.
I've heard that, but it's also like it's like a muscle. So the more you exercise it, the stronger it'll get. So
right.
I got to figure out the exercises.
Well, I mean, it all depends on the intention of what you're trying to do. Honestly,
I suppose it would. I as I've mentioned before in the past, there's something going on with me. I don't know exactly what it is. I've dealt with telepathy and just some weird crap.
The first time you
I haven't pursued it.
Yeah, the first time you do that, what the hell just happens? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was kind of bizarre. I'm doing this link, so that's why I'm typing.
No worries. But yeah, and so I got back into some other things, you know, learning more on my own. So, and surprisingly, there's a whole crap ton of information on YouTube about it, you know?
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, the whole YouTube thing, because I mean, what I do and what, you know, people in this genre do is just such a minute little fraction of YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing that, like, oh, how do I fix a screen door? Wait, there it is. There's 5 videos on it, or 500 videos on it. You know, you can do anything.
Yeah. There's
a video for it.
Well, I mean, you and I are kind of close in age. You know, we remember when you had to how-to something, you had to go grab a book off the shelf.
Sure.
You know, we didn't have internet. What was that?
No, and I thank God when I was a kid, I mean, we didn't have money, but somehow we had a set of the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Had one of my mom's and one of my grandparents. Right?
All right, here's the link. It should work. Let me double check. CRX. 562Y. Anybody feels like coming on, click on that link. Love to have you on, Tony. I see Crow there, so I'm like,
Tony.
And Pappy, you're right. I have to devote some time to it, but I'm not sure exactly how to.
Do you have
start with meditation or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I really have to.
Yes, they were gray. The whole gambit of grays.
Yes, Jamie, it is a red bandana night. I wasn't sure. I have to get some new ones because it's getting boring. I mean, I have black and blue, and there's an orange one there, and I do have a camo one. I'm just going to get a P.O. box, and people can send me the bandana of the week or something.
There you go.
Today's bandana is sponsored by... Oh, shit.
But yeah, to develop yourself, meditation's a good way to start. Focusing your intention. The biggest thing to do is that they call it the chattering mind. It's like when you want to go to sleep and, oh, you know that thing you didn't do 20 years ago? Your brain starts bringing that stuff up.
Yeah.
And conquering the ego is big too. Is a big thing for some people.
I don't know. I don't know that I have.
You don't seem the type to have a big ego. I mean, from what I've seen on the shows.
Oh, dude, what's the sense? Just be who you are, and if you're wrong, admit it, and try to help people. And everybody gets butthurt every now and then.
Oh yeah,
that's all ego. But once you get past that, it's like a lot of shit doesn't matter that you get upset about. It's just irrelevant. It doesn't have a bearing on your life. At the moment, it
right.
seems, shitty, but when you look at it, it's like it's not worth it. Don't
right.
Don't.
But that's why the wife gets mad at me, because I can go lay my head down on the pillow and I'm out.
And she's still stewing on the argument.
Or whatever she was thinking about.
All right, we're gonna bring on Argo. Hold on. What's up, man? How are you?
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Oh, good. I was just listening to you there, and I'm sitting on the back porch,
Right on.
I was just listening to you there, and without really knowing it, you've named several of the things that are absolutely staples in people's lives who've been abductees from a very young age. You seem like a pretty intelligent guy. I get the feeling that maybe you've done a little bit of this research on your own, huh?
A little. I mean, I dabble here and there, and some things just get brought up to me when I have a question. So,
well, I have to say that it's a terrible shame that people really 30 or younger didn't get to grow up in the 90s when all the real researchers, who really did a lot of the, the real work that we have stuff left over from.
Right.
So I have to ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind. If that's
no,
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. If I asked you to think back in your childhood to the very first experience, I haven't quite got that beard at Mark has, but got to get it in there. But anyway, so if I asked you to go back to the first experience in your life that you would say is, quote, not the norm, what would that be? Would that be your experience at 3 years old, or would it be before even?
It would probably be around 2-3 years old.
And what would that be? And you said I could ask questions. It's just how does one answer this?
I used to have a friend.
With the same truth you have been using.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing that ever first happened to me that I remember is I used to hang out with Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla as a kid.
I'm jealous.
Like,
right on.
it was when they tested me for my ADHD, they figured out I don't see I don't see the world like other people. Everybody sees it from the middle out. I see it from the out in.
We try.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that allows us a bigger scope on the situation we're in.
Life, yeah.
Yeah.
Situation. It's a good way to put it. Because the older I get, the more I learn about this, the more I learn that it is kind of a situation we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You know? So, you said that you thought that they had come to take your boy. You said you had thought that they had come to take your boy. I know this was a problem last time. I'm sorry, folks. I have to say that your intuition is exactly right. That is exactly what they did. Through the abduction phenomenon, you learned from serious research that it is a generational thing for the most part. It is a generational thing. I don't believe that there is any way to, quote, kind of become an abductee. It follows you from the time you're young. It comes through your parents, which you've given evidence of. Now, I committed a little research or suicide the other night on Bigfoot Odyssey, so I'm going to go ahead and just put the gun right to my head here and just go ahead and blow my brains out good here. You ready? This is all my own thought. Seemingly, people can go into the woods, and I mean just people, not people who have had contact like yourself for many years. Okay, just people can go into the wood, and if they spend enough time after these things, the aliens seem to come to them. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, the shadow beings or the this or that, but to me, I see the one and only powerful force out there that would absolutely be in charge without doubt. Without doubt. It will not share command with anybody. Okay. So, that being said, then how is it that normal people are able to go into the wood and seemingly make contact with the aliens? Whether that's because they're trying to find Bigfoot, because they're monitoring a family group. So let me ask you, do you think that your contact with Bigfoot, if you walked into the woods close to where you're at, do you feel like you would have any fear of them at all?
No. I mean, I've always had this sixth sense. Like, I can read people. Like, I can look at you right now and I can automatically tell if you're going to be a threat to me or a good person or a bad person.
Intuitive.
Yeah. I mean, I had that on the prison yard. It saved me many a times. And so, you know, I if it means me harm, well, you may kill me, but you're going to know I'm there type situation, you know. But no, I mean, I wasn't afraid. It was an unknown to me in the camp at night. So, I mean, I've had bears wake me up coming by a tent. Okay, you're a bear. Good night. And I mean, it didn't want to do harm to me. So I'm like, yeah, dude, help yourself to the ice chest. Whatever you need, just don't eat me.
So I have to ask you a question. Do you have many cameras that you could set up at night that have light or anything like that?
No, I don't really. All I have is a cell phone. But I mean, this happened on a campsite, not in the town where I was living at the time.
Right.
So, I mean, where I live, like I said, I'm near the border. I've heard stories of dogmen. I've lived down in this area almost 40 years, camped in the woods, the whole nine. I ain't never seen an air one of a dogman.
Yeah, I've never seen a dogman, but I saw a damn Bigfoot. That's for damn sure.
Wow.
At least that soda didn't come out your nose, dude. That was close.
A little bit. But
So, let me ask you another.
Argo, you just froze up. There you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr.
Try again.
James has defined what is around abductees as lives of high strangeness. Some of the things that entail this life of high strangeness may be objects moving a house, strange phantom noises in the house, all the things that seem to accompany ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
There has been some research to show that gravity has some kind of play on this, electromagnetic, and that type. Just anything that has to do with gravity. Do you have things in your house that happen like that? Do you have ghosts, quote ghosts, that show up in the house, or mists, or strange knocks and stuff?
I've never had mist. And as I got into adulthood, it slowed down.
That happens.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, yeah, I mean, I would see shadows on the walls, hear strange pounding on walls or knocks or whatever. And I tell my dad, oh, it's just the pipes. I mean, I'm a fourth generation plumber, and if you don't strap those pipes down, they bang in your wall.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, all that stuff was really prevalent when I was a child. And as I grew older, it would cease and just turn into mostly abductions. They would I'd go to sleep, they take me or whatever, or they wouldn't. And
you have scoop marks or
no, I never had that.
Well, you had the implant, so
just the implant, but I never on my body where I could see.
That's a big just.
Where is the implant?
It came out on my left calf, just below the knee.
Without a doubt, they put a new one back.
Probably. And the only reason that one actually came, the only reason that one actually came out is I was actually listening to a guided meditation to get rid of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I'd get itching. I'm like, man, Mogion can attest to this. Arizona's thick with mosquitoes the size of hawks here.
Oh, yeah, I live in Missouri.
It's like the state bird.
Yeah. So you're always like, man, I got an itch. Must have got bit by a mosquito or something,
Oh, yeah. Before we started, I was sitting here because this little studio I'm in, I had the door open all day, swarming with mosquitoes. So I'm like scratching. Before we started, I put some bug spray on. Yeah, the mosquitoes suck here.
I wasn't trying to put your secret out there.
That's so good, dude. Mm-hmm. So there are some questions out there. Argo, can you describe the Bigfoot you saw?
Yeah.
Of course, you freeze up at that moment.
What?
You froze up, so I was like, of course, But go ahead, try now.
About 9 foot tall, I reckon, over time, and his forearms were longer, not by like incredible amounts, but longer than his top arms, his bicep. And he had long hair on his arms, on his lower arms. You could see it as he was almost cut. You could see it as he was kiting her towards the woods at me. And at first, when I first saw him, I don't know what I thought he was, because I've been living in Missouri or in Washington a little bit, and for a second you have to think he's a bear. And I knew that there had been bears on that ridge, no matter what the game department had said. But when he took off running, man, I mean, fire shot down my back, and I only got really a couple of decent, like real long, good looks at him after that. And it was when I was at the creek bed. And his stomach wasn't black like his face. His stomach was more of I don't know, it was lighter, and there wasn't a whole lot of hair on his stomach, and on his chest and his He had junk, but but and she was just as chocolate cinnamon brown as she could be, and she looked. People say they look retarded. Some of them look retarded. She looked retarded. She genuinely looked retarded. She had a real wide gap between her eyes, like a real wide gap. And she was, she was different in the face than he
Sorry
was.
if the word retarded offended anybody. It's just a description. Nobody's trying to, offend anybody.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say she had.
No, I get it. That mongoloid look.
Yeah, I could put my hand between her eyes. You know what I mean? I could literally put my hand between her eyes.
Down syndrome. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've heard him referred to as having like a Down syndrome.
It didn't
type.
come to my mind.
I know a lot of people say that they haven't smelt him either, and I wasn't like overwhelmed with smell at the time either. But when I was on the far side of the pond, I did catch a few. It just smells like poop. I have my own thoughts on what that is too. I think that because it smells so much like their feces, like it just smells like feces, really. A lot of them, a lot of it does. And I think that they may use that as like a hunting technique. Like a female lion will break off from the group and go and circle to the top of the herd on the downwind side and push the herd suddenly in opposite direction. So if an intelligent simian species was trying to say, hey, Buster, you're in my hunting area, or maybe this will scare you, get out of here, I don't see why they wouldn't do it. Throw a little scent bomb at you to let you know I'm here.
Yeah.
Or anything else that's big and gnarly there, to know that it's there,
Right. Excuse me.
But as a rule, I didn't smell, it wasn't like I didn't smell anything. I didn't really. But it was a long time ago and I was running like hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was running like hell. So I just wanted to ask those questions about your youth and the experience there, and and just to give you something you might want to look at yourself, in print, so you can read things.
Mm-hmm.
The experience where you said the gray was leaning over your face like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it wasn't the gray; it was a machine.
A machine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say that could possibly have been an impression that you got during the process, but it leaning over you like that is an absolutely known procedure that Dr. Jacobs used to call mind scan, but he's changed it in the last like 7 or 8 years to call it neural engagement. And what that merely means is they get close enough to you, literally, sometimes in reports, they're touching their forehead with yours, and they're looking into your eyes, and that's where almost all abductees are blanked out. It's gone from there. That's where they're putting you under. Basically, is what that is. So it's no surprise that you don't remember much from there. And I also have to say one other thing. The memory of you hitting the being, that memory is probably real. To that, I want to say 2 things. One, I know of an absolute for sure abductee that I speak with periodically, and he told me not too long ago that he thought that he slept with a gun, and that he wants to kill him. Doesn't like what they do. You know what I mean? And I understand that. And he said at one time that he thought that he had knocked the dog waddens out of one of them. Just absolutely just blasted it, that it was one of the times that they hadn't had good control of it. Said that when he woke up, that he couldn't move his left arm, for 2 months, I think he said.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or his hand. Now, I'm not saying that's a punishment or anything like that, but that happened directly behind him saying that he hit one of these. That's the first thing I'd like to say. Second thing I'd like to say is, if you got up in the ship and got to moving around in the ship and looking at things, dealing with things, then you are one of exactly 2 people that I have ever heard that have been able to get up while in the ship and move around. And the other one is Travis Walton.
Yeah, that happened not
And it's
right
not
between
far.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
right between us. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should probably check out Travis Walton's book. You know what I mean? Because
Fire in the Sky.
well, the movie Fire in the Sky, though, Mugs, that whole
Yeah.
movie is exactly the way it went down, except for everything that happened on the ship.
Oh, that movie used to scare the stuff out of me, man.
Well, that's all fiction. What they
Yeah.
show in the movie is all fiction. You have to read the book and read Travis's real account of what actually happened in there to know what really happened. And that was absolutely not what happened. I can tell you what Travis says happened. It's up to you guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole story goes like this. Travis wakes up after being blasted by the beam. He wakes up and he's got a metal thing sitting on his chest. And his vision is kind of blurry. And he can tell that there's people around him. He does know what's going on. He's kind of groggy. And then all of a sudden he can tell there's these little gray bobbly-headed beings around him. And he flips, man. He flips. You know, he throws the thing off his chest and jumps up and grabs an instrument off the table and basically is telling them, you know, I'll kill you. I'll beat you to bricks with this thing. And
Right.
at first they were saying to him, just relax, just relax, just relax. And he said they stood there, and at the moment that he was about to jump on them, they all turned, boop, pivoted, and went out the door. He sat there for a number of seconds to maybe a minute or two, walked out the door, turned left, walked a few feet. There was a door on the right, turned right, went in that door. And in that room, it was a circular room with a chair in the middle of it. As he walked to the chair, the walls began to disappear and become like he was standing in the middle of space. He walked up to the chair and couldn't affect any change by pushing buttons or moving levers or anything that was on the chair, except there was like a joystick that had pressure against it, he said. And when he moved it, that the whole space spun around inside the ship. Suddenly, the door opens, and a tall Nordic, which is one of the only other real beings, not all this other hocus pocus, you hear people say 50 kinds of that's trash. And you can believe it because I said it, and anybody doesn't like that, oh well. I've done.
Oh.
He done froze.
Done froze is right. Argo, if you can hear me, you froze up. If you want to refresh, come back on.
There we go.
Right on.
The Nordic being waves at him to come on. So he turns and walks to the Nordic being that's in this big bubble, like an astronaut suit. He starts firing questions at him. Hey, man, what's going on? What were those things? Are you here to save me? Hey, what is going on here? What's, you know? And he said he realized that the guy was inside a helmet and that maybe he couldn't answer him, that maybe he'd been contaminated or something as such. So he just started following the guy because that's what he wanted to do, was lead him. The guy let him out the room. And on around that corner, and a door opened, and a ramp opened. He walked down the ramp with the guy, and in the hangar were 5 other giant UFOs.
Yeah, I remember this part.
He walks across the hangar to a door on the other side of the hangar. The door opens up, and he said he thought before it opened, you could tell it was like pressurizing, like creating an atmosphere, something like that, you know. So I'm sure so, you know, he could breathe because the Nordic being, or what people call the Nordics, I'm just calling them Nordics.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, I'm not saying it's what they are.
They were more humanoid than a gray.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
He said it was just a big, tall, blonde guy, you know, like a big Swede, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
The door opens up. They walk down this long hallway, and at the end, there's a door at the end. By this time, he started to get suspicious, right? And he's like, "Hey, man, what the blank is really going on here?" Door opens up. There's 2 men, 1 woman inside, with like gray. I think he said gray pant bottoms and black shirts. Okay, black tops, and he walks in, starts giving them the same rundown, and there's a chair in there. And he starts giving them the same, hey, what's going on? You know, blah, 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 blah. And they snatch him up, slap him down in the chair, put a mask over his face, and poof, he's out. The next thing he knows, he wakes up on the highway and there's disc above him. And that's what actually happened. So you waking up on a ship and being able to do all these things, buddy, that puts you in a completely different class of abducted stories. And I felt compelled to get on here and tell you it's your experience. So like mine, you have a tend to assuage that incredibleness to it, you know. And I'm here to tell you, after listening to your story, hey, buddy, that's incredible, bro. And I believe you. And I believe.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right on, Argo. Thanks for that.
And I mean, I know they still come after my son because he'll wake up just flat out screaming his head off.
Yeah.
I mean, he just turned 3.
Doctors?
Huh?
Does he talk about the little doctors?
No, he doesn't talk about it at all. Because we'll ask him. Yeah. My son's very verbally, for 3 years old, he can talk pretty well.
Most abductees' children are brilliant.
Oh, my son scares me. I'm like, I'm glad you take after your mom because your dad is dumb as doornails.
No,
I mean,
you may have no common sense, but you're not a dumb guy.
No, that's about the only thing I do have is common sense.
These days, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. that I might be on a genius level, but you know, he'll wake up screaming. He goes, "Well, baby, what happened? What happened? What's wrong?" "Oh, the monsters, the monsters." That's all he'll say. And what was really weird is my grandfather had died 3 years ago, just before he was born, or just before I got with his mom, that he was born. And I have his ashes still because I haven't got around to spreading them. And I had him in a closet on the shelf. And he looks up and he goes, "Papa," which that's what I called my grandfather. He was 8 months, a year old. He doesn't know my grandfather. He doesn't know what I used to call my grandfather. And he's pointing, "Papa, Papa," and he's looking around the room right back to the ashes. So, yeah.
Well, it's part of that high strangeness that accompanies abduction, and some people have it intensely bad in their homes and around them. Some people have it lighter. Like you said, that your abductions have slowed down as you got older.
Yeah.
So that's a common thing, actually. It seems to be after the chemical processes the body is done in the early 20s, then abduction will fade for many years, sometimes decades, only once or twice or 3 times. But then,
well, actually, they were really heavy in my 20s. That's when I really became aware of them.
You were aware that there was something tinkering with you.
Yeah. I mean, I was probably 28, 29 when I remember that gray in the corner and then going up on the ship and doing all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I was in my late 20s, maybe early 30s when that happened.
So the story where you said the ghost sat beside you?
Oh, yeah, when I was working at the prison?
Yeah, now I'm not saying this is the deal, okay? But I have to recount something out of Dr. Jacobs' most recent book. And this is to demonstrate the power of what the aliens can do with a person's mind. They have the ultimate weapon. They don't need guns. They have the ultimate weapon. They can use our own minds against us.
Yeah.
So in the book, this man is in his 40s. And all throughout his life, he's had a hybrid that shows up in his life and asks him numerous different questions to teach him things about life here on the planet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that's going to be far out for some people to grasp, but I'm just telling you PhD level truth. If you want to learn it, then you go read the books. I'll give you a list 100 long so you can come to the exact same conclusions I do. Anyway, Damn.
I definitely encourage anybody to do their own research. You know, don't be sheep.
That's right.
You know,
But this man is showing up at Dr. Jacobs' office to have a session, to have a regression session. And his buddy, Chatty, in the book, shows up just before he's to go into the office with Dr. Jacobs. And they discuss different things that's important to this hybrid. And then the hybrid asks him, where are you going? He says, well, I'm going to Dr. Jacobs' office to talk about my abductions. And he says, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Right? Yeah, you can't do that. And the quote is, you're endangering future generations. Now, the reason why I told you this is because when he gets inside his office and he begins regression, he begins to recount this story that just happened just before he came in the office. And it was the eureka moment in this man's abduction therapy that had been ongoing for years, where both him and Dr. Jacobs were able to pull out of his memory that not only did he just meet this man, but he had met this man numerous times, all throughout his life, all over the world.
It happens sometimes. I mean, if you're gonna, like, if you ever want to do your own past life regression, be very careful what you ask for when you find out some of the stuff you did in your past life.
Yeah, it's oddly there is evidence for past life. I don't like to dig into much of that.
Yeah.
It starts to go into religion, and everybody has their religious beliefs, you know.
Well, when you start using psychic abilities and learning about psychic abilities, it kind of shatters a lot of religious beliefs you have.
See, there you go. Now, see, there you are. The longer we talk, the more experienced abductee you sound. So I don't know if you were able to watch the podcast I was on recently with Bigfoot Odyssey.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I was on Bigfoot Odyssey recently. I don't know if you're able to catch that.
No, I haven't really watched a lot of Bigfoot Odyssey. I hear about it a lot on the show, so I'm gonna have to
watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to get across on that show is that there's this big hocus pocus around mind speak.
Yeah.
And when you've done 3 decades of UFO abductee research like I have, the first person I ever heard say that a Bigfoot mind spoke with them, I was shocked, first of all. And second of all, I knew exactly where it could possibly come from. It was over 3 years later that I learned that a Bigfoot researcher actually photoed a gray with him in the woods. And they're together. You don't have proof, but they're together. You can put that if the grays are in the wood, then all communication is just like it is on board a spacecraft. Telepathy.
Right. Well, but I also see I've never had any real mind speak except with my brother. Well, and he's a year and a half younger than me.
Wait. You just qualified that by saying I have
Except.
So once is evidence.
Evidence. Well, but here's the thing. How much power do we use how much of your brain do you use every day?
9 to 11%.
Yeah.
Exactly. They say at most the average person uses 10%.
9 to 11% is the average person. Genius level people use between 13 and 17%. It's estimated that Oppenheimer and Einstein and people like that operated somewhere around 17%.
Yeah. So imagine what you could do if you can unlock some of these sections of your brain. What mysteries lie within the brain that we could? I mean, I follow Dr. Stephen Greer. It just happened with the alien thing, and this was probably within the last couple months. And it's like he starts talking about the technologies and the things they do, yada yada yada. And I'm like, you know what? I bet there's nothing my brain can't do that we don't already have a technology doing for us.
That's a big statement. But
It's huge.
I can see your confidence, though. That implies that you can do these things. And guess what? If you're an abductee, I believe you. Because abductees have incredible abilities. They have incredible things that happen around them.
Mhm.
I believe you.
Well, I'm glad.
Ray wants to know, Micah, any family in the military?
Yes, my great grandfather was actually in World War II and in the Japanese concentration camps.
Oh, wow.
And my little brother used to serve on the USS George Washington.
Right on.
You know.
There was another question. I'm just trying to get these questions out there because I hate when I miss them. And
Right.
Gilbert asked, have any of you three heard the Sierra Nevada sounds? What do you think of it? I have. I've heard, recordings of it.
Yeah.
I have also heard of them, and
I think everybody has.
if I get drunk enough, I can experience them.
They're real. There's a linguist who just did a show last year in Branson, Missouri. He's the linguist that Ron used to verify that it was language. I can't remember. I want to say his name is Scott something. But yeah, you can find that research. Yeah, it's absolutely real. Those men. See, it's one of the things that I like to go back to Ron Moorhead when people say, "Oh, UFOs and Bigfoot don't have anything to do with each other." I like to say, really? But you like Ron Moorhead, right? Oh yeah, Ron Moorhead's the man. I say, well, what do you say what Ron says when he talks about the lightsaber he saw go through the woods? What's that?
Well, I mean, here's my thing. If reasonable people are experiencing these things that aren't drunks and do hallucinogens out in the woods, there's got to be something to it.
Yeah.
Not everybody's lying, dude.
Yeah.
It's the same way I feel about all the Bigfoot stories I've heard.
I'm going to tell you that the last 2 seconds that I saw, the one that I saw, it had a white orb and a red orb right above its head. And they weren't flat, like quarter-looking dimensions. They were a ball. They were a damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
And they went pop, pop. And the Bigfoot that was standing there up and disappeared like a fart in the wind. I mean, an instantaneous disappeared. I'm talking about a 900-pound animal, or I'm sorry, I don't mean a 900-pound monster guy.
Creature.
Yeah.
Creature.
Yeah. And he disappeared.
We're trying to be PC about Bigfoot. Come on. We're not going to offend him.
Well,
or her.
Mister, I'd like to thank you for answering the questions that I asked. And
no problem.
If you want to know anything, possibly, by researchers who have come before us and greater men than I would suggest Bud Hopkins and David Jacobs and John Mack. He got one. You got one?
No, I was reaching for some paper here so I could write down some of these names.
Or you could just, hit rewind a little later.
Right?
Bud Hopkins, David Jacobs, and John Mack. Bud Hopkins is dead, and so is John Mack, and I think David Jacobs is actually sequestered and sick at the moment, so we'll probably lose him soon. But 3 of the greatest minds that ever went after the sociology of the aliens.
So Argo, you gave us your description of the Bigfoot, but what was the situation behind it that you saw these two?
I was fishing.
Right on.
Yeah, it was a day before my birthday. My grandfather would go out on Sundays and go drink coffee with his buddies. You know what I mean? He was driving a cab by this point, but he was an ex-carpenter, so he'd meet his buddies down at what was called Champlin Restaurant. So I knew he'd be gone in the morning. I'd get up, and I'd been down to this pond several times, and caught plenty of big fish out of it. My uncle has a fish out of it now that is like, I don't want to quote it exactly, but it's within a few ounces of the state limit for an impoundment. So it was a great pond of fishing, and I was just down there fishing. I'd been there all day, had a stringer full of catfish, I'd been pitching my little ultralight, catching crappie, and there was actually crappie in there, and perch and stuff like that, and would use them as cut bait. And lighter right there. My wife's there smoking. But yeah, it was just fishing, and I don't think that it was by accident that the time that this thing took to come after me was by accident. I think that. Oh, sorry, Dad. Oops, I just set the light off on her. I don't think it was by accident, because where it came from, it came directly out of the sun. Like directly out of the sun. Like, let me. God, I hate doing this. Like I'm looking at you guys, and he came from. Man,
is someone tapping?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was me. I apologize.
Right.
So
anything you do, your mic, picks it up.
I heard it too.
We're good.
Over
Sorry.
the hill, like this direction, back behind me, up an in-grade on a hill that was about like that, right? So when I heard him running up behind me, he was right in the sun, and he knew that I was going to turn around and look right in the sun. He'd do it. Like, there's no doubt. I've run it by in my mind a million times. You know what I mean? And he waited all day. I'm telling you, he waited all day, because where he jumped over the hill after I caught him, I turned around, I caught him and heard him running up behind me. When he jumped over the hill, he did it when I turned around and got blasted by the sun, and he knew he could, like, basically not like disappear like he was going to do in about another couple of minutes, but he knew that he could get right over the edge of that hill and that I couldn't see him, And it's kind of like what Carrie says. You tell yourself, just all sorts of stuff. You rationalize it away. And I reached down, snatched my stringer up, turned around, started to say, hey, Lee, I'm getting ready to leave here. I just didn't want to come down to the house. I was going to go through the whole story and tell him why I didn't come, tell him why, I was fishing on the pond without, informing him. And there was nothing there. And, you tell yourself, I saw what I saw. But, I don't know, you just tell yourself, that, okay, well, I didn't see it. I don't know what I heard. I thought, but instantly in my mind came the thought, I just need to get the hell out of here anyway. I got plenty of fish on the string. I just need boogie, So I turned and start high stepping it towards the cedar line, towards where the pines of the cedars were. And I got probably, I don't know, maybe 30 yards. I probably taken 15, 20 good steps. And then it's almost like I could feel a pressure over my shoulder or something. I don't know why. I turned around, just to be quite honest. But I turned around, and he was just like, he had just come over the edge of that hill. And he was, I don't know what he was doing, but he was kind of down. Not completely down, but he's kind of down. Like I caught him from standing up,
Right.
And when I locked eyes with him, he just looked at me for just a second. And then, bam, he just started bolting. And I was extremely relieved that when he took off, he didn't come, right at me, like.
Yeah. Didn't charge you, yeah. Yeah,
he charged, at an angle away from me. And just the lopingest, craziest gallop, man. Oh, my God. And my birthday's this month. And so you go on Carrie's show, and then it's September, your birthday month, let me tell you. And then you go on Mo's show and you talk about it, and then you just don't sleep at all. I'm not kidding. I've like 7 nights in a row now.
Wow.
Sucks. Yeah.
So Argo, Prairie Fire likes your beard, dude.
It's not quite Mark's, though. Mark got that great big one. Yeah. Get my jump on winter.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
you guys,
go ahead.
You guys want to have some fun?
Sure.
Why the fuck would we want to do that?
I'm going to pick a number from 1 to 10. Everybody in chat, you guys, we're going to guess this number.
I already picked it.
3.
All right. Everybody in chat got their vote in?
Don't post it. Just keep it in your head, I guess, right?
No, I have it. Yeah, no, they can put it in chat.
3.
It's okay.
All right.
3.
I'm going to put it in chat.
I can't see the chat.
What'd you put,
this,
Muggs?
mister?
Huh?
I don't think that abductees that go into the woods are impervious to danger.
What'd you put down, Muggs?
I thought I put it down. What the hell? Hold on. Do it again.
Watch, it's a trick number like 0.
No.
Nope. From 1 to 10.
3.
It's 5.
Who said 4?
My
I just heard
wife.
someone. Oh, I just heard someone say 4 too.
My wife. 4.
Right on.
You're right, babe.
So what's the trick?
Thing, man. Don't teach
The trick is the people who got it right
No. Don't teach
have their.
Have
It's
their
not
what?
really a trick. The people who got it right have their psychic abilities awakened.
I said 3. Does that mean I'm
No, it's funny.
there?
You're almost there.
Bomber and JLV both got 4.
Night, babe. Good job. That's 4.
And that was it. Just Bomber, but we already know Bomber has
I will.
Bomber's is sensitive. We already know that.
Some of them abilities, huh?
I know, right? It's like Ben's
Bomber's
like,
a
wow,
cheeky
someone was
monkey.
right. Well, it's pretty inevitable, but
Well, guys,
Have you-
I guess I'll kick it out of here. But I just again want to thank you, man. Mogs, thank
Thank
for
you.
having me on.
oh, my pleasure, man. Thank you. Anytime. Yeah, we're gonna cut it short here soon anyway. So,
See
but
you,
Argo,
everyone.
thank you.
Yep. See you guys.
See ya. But no, that's how you also practice remote viewing with somebody. Like you'll get a piece of paper and draw a shape or a number or whatever, and you'll go, all right, it's on the pink paper. What is it?
It's not really
And then
remote viewing, though, is it?
It's a way to kind of, it's like with training wheels.
Sure.
You know, okay, well, I know I have to find whatever it is on a pink piece of paper, but how many pink pieces of paper are in this room? You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, Argo, thank you again. I'm sorry, dude.
No
I get
problem.
this cramp in my neck, and I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
sitting here in my underwear.
Oh man.
Y'all forgot about that, didn't you?
I'm sitting here talking to a man in his underwear.
Oh, you're wearing a wife beater, so.
Eh.
Oh, geez. Guys, if you have any more questions for Micah before we end this, please jump in. Let's see. I did see Gilbert in chat earlier, and Gilbert will be joining me on Thursday night. I'll put a little video out. I'm going to read his email. I got permission from him to read his email, and he's going to join me. He's from Washington State. He is Native American, and he's got some Bigfoot stories he wants to tell. So he's going to come on Thursday, and I am stoked about it. Should be a good show. Gilbert, you know, I'll get in touch tomorrow and send you the details. Strangeland, good night. No, Barry, not G-string underwear. Sorry, bud.
It's
not
the
good.
European
Not good.
bikini cut.
Yeah, it's not one of your warped fantasies of female Bigfoot and whatever else you're fucking up there.
Good times.
Oh, no, dude, you got to see some of his comments, dude. Barry's a pisser. We love you, Barry. And,
Oh, wow.
stop coming. Where do you think the Bigfoot community is headed? In circles. As it's been for 50 years. Something's got to give. There's got to be something that someone's going to slip through the cracks, and it's going to come. I think it's going to come from a weird spot. Somebody's going to do something different in their investigations or whatever, and just something odd, like, and they're going to catch a film of one, or it's just, I think it's going to come from a weird direction where somebody's going to have really good proof, and people are going to take note. I mean, shit, we're still gawking about a 50-year-old film, and it's a great film, and it's the gold standard for Bigfooters, basically. And there are some other good videos out there that I don't think get enough credit.
Mm-hmm. And some that probably just don't make the air. Oh
yeah, no, there's tons of videos on cameras that are just sitting there,
in attic somewhere. Yeah.
You go into someone's junk drawer and there's going to be SD cards that who knows what's on them.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. When I had this idea, it had nothing to do with the Bigfoot world or anything, but I was camping. My dad and I camped on Horseshoe Bend on the Colorado River. And when we first got to the beach, I found a lens cover, or he found a lens cover in the water. I found a camera lens. I mean, it was a good heavy duty. I still have it around here somewhere. Actually, I'm looking right at it. Hold on. I'm going to grab it.
Wow.
Damn, my ass hurts. Need my cushion. My ass is flat. So yeah, we camped on when we got to the beach, and he finds a lens cover, and I find this lens. You see the dent in it?
Yeah.
That's because that fell 900 feet.
900 feet?
900 feet off a cliff.
Holy shit.
If you look up Horseshoe Bend, you'll see pictures of it from the top.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the bottom. Like if you look at the picture, you look how the horseshoe is. We're on the opposite bank from where the pictures are taken. So we're looking up at people. So people drop cameras off of there, dude.
Yeah.
By accident. So my thing was I wanted to scale this big. It almost looks like a slag pile, like it's just the erosion from the cliff face, and it's all stacked up against.
That's in Arizona, right?
Yeah, it's on the Colorado River.
Yeah,
so you starts in Lee's Ferry,
and
so I wanted to go up there and scale this rock pile and find all these. I don't want the cameras; I want the pictures. No, I'm serious, dude. These are you could do a whole section of lost pictures of, and you never know what's going to be on there, but these, you do an album or something, and you just post these pictures and they're lost pictures of national parks or whatever.
Right.
It would be pretty cool. And my thought was to fly a drone up there, but you can't fly drones in national parks, especially the Grand Canyon. They frown on it.
A little bit.
Yeah, just weird shit. I wanted to, find these old photos, and because I'm into stories, and every picture has a story, and
right.
You never know what you're going to find.
Right.
Tracy says, never mind.
that bad,
huh? No. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Let's just say she's not modest. I just water. Well, anyway, guys, listen. Mike, I want to thank you so much. We are going to wrap this up.
No problem.
Again, Thursday night, Gilbert's going to be on. Hope you guys check it out. If you guys enjoyed this, hit the like, subscribe, share, show your love. And thank you guys. You guys are awesome, because you guys in chat and my moderators, you guys make this show. You guys really do. I love reading chat, and, you guys really show your appreciation in the comments, and thank you again. And I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully, you guys will keep liking it. And if you don't, too bad. No. Get over it.
Well, I hope I didn't cost you any viewers with my weird Cool Ranch
dude,
dream
it's all good. We're all friggin' weird. You know, weird is the new normal because normal is overrated. You know,
Well, there it is.
So yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at chat again. So yeah,
No
dude.
problem.
Thanks again, man.
No problem. No problem.
Anytime anything comes up, new stories, you just want to bullshit, you're more than welcome.
Thank you.
All right, dude. I will talk to you soon. Again, thank you again.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.
Take it easy, man. Great job.
Bye. Thanks.
All right, guys. So that was Micah. I want to thank him. Good jobs. Good jobs. Yeah. Good English. Thanks everybody for showing up. Hope to see you guys Thursday night. Should be a good show. I'm really stoked about, I always wanted the Native American point of view on some of this. The numbers game, Mogs, I don't know what that means. Bomber. Oh, the thing we just did? Nah. It's 3. Oh, shit. All right, guys. It's almost 2 hours. I'm whooped. You guys have an amazing night. And thank you guys so much for coming. Duke, Loretta, everybody that's there, Professor Orange Juice, Bell, thank you. Great job. Chris, Big Rob, everybody, thank you. I don't think he has a channel. Bomber. Argo might, and I don't know what it is. I'll do some research and find out. Sharon, thank you. All right, guys. I got to get out of here, dude. I'll keep babbling all night. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks again. And peace and God bless, guys.